So, of course, you know it. We love to recognize businesses and organizations, especially during the holidays. There are many different clubs and organizations that are out there that can help you. There's so many great ways that you can participate and that you can have your kids participate in. And there are a lot of different spaces where kids can feel safe and connected. But especially importantly, a place to belong as well. And one place that does such a phenomenal job doing that is the Boys and Girls Club. Now, the Boys and Girls Club has been around. I know that they were founded back in 1993. The Boys and Girls Club of Elgin was founded. Of course, in 2021, they partnered with the school district U46, and they are continuing to grow. And it is a wonderful, wonderful place to feel accepted and nurtured and a safe space for kids out there too. So if you want to check out more information, bgcncil.org is where you can find more information on them, also on social media pages. But stay tuned because we've got our special interview lined up here right now. We've got three lovely guests here in the studio with us today. We've got Brittany, who is the Director of Trauma Informed Care. We've got Hannah, who's with the Wisdom Family Foundation and also Boys and Girls Club board member, and Marla, who's also with the Wisdom Family Foundation and Academy program too. So thank you all for joining us today. How are you all doing?
Thank you.
Great.
Doing
Thank you, Matt.
well.
Of course, absolutely. So if you just want to do a little introduction on yourselves, tell us how you got started with the Boys and Girls Club. We can start with you, Brittany.
Yeah. As mentioned, my name is Brittany. I'm the Director of Trauma Informed Care at the Boys and Girls Club of North Central Illinois. I've been with the organization for 6 years now, actually. Started out in teen and leadership and career development. And then, of course, COVID hit, and we all did the things that we do. So, virtual programs and all the things. But, have had the privilege of working with all of our age groups throughout the years in various sectors. Um, I was our inaugural director of social emotional learning for a couple years, switched over to HR. So, a lot of different facets of the organization, and I love it more every time I switch. So, having a blast.
Awesome.
Hi, I'm Marla. I am the Director of Operations for the Wisdom Family Foundation and the Program Director for the Wisdom Wellness Academy at the Boys and Girls Club. This is actually our pilot year with this program, so this is my first experience working directly with the Boys and Girls Club.
Nice.
I have worked in previous years with the Wisdom Family Foundation and some of their Christmas Wishes initiatives, but my background is extensively in various facets of health and wellness. I'm a nationally board certified health and wellness coach. And so I'm really excited to be here and doing this program with the girls this year.
Fantastic.
And I'm Hannah Wisdom. I am a board member of the Wisdom Family Foundation for over 10 years. And I just recently joined Boys and Girls Club North Central Illinois board. This is my second year. So it has been a really seamless collaboration. Boys and Girls Club has been a grant recipient from Wisdom Family Foundation for years now. So it seemed like a really great interest point for me when I joined the board for North Central Illinois.
Very cool. So we'll start by talking a little bit about this. The BGC and CIL, they've adopted a trauma-informed approach, and it's guided by 7 core values. So there's safety, then there's trust, awareness, equity, empowerment, mutual collaboration, and then also connection and growth as well. So what does trauma-informed care look like day to day? I know it's going to be a little bit different for everyone, but how do you make sure every staff member embodies those values that are very and consistently as well?
Yeah, so throughout, I have the privilege of being a trainer for trauma informed practices in our organization. And really, the main thing in there is recognizing that trauma informed care can be as simple or complex as you want it to be.
Mhm.
You don't have to necessarily have a degree or a specialization in it to be able to do it. And so, the first part of all of that is building the confidence and saying that, hey, I can also have the tools necessary to be successful and be trauma informed. And so, what I mean by that is, we lead these trainings in various topics and we build confidence in talking about the hard things. We do lead trainings on grief, we lead trainings on suicide prevention,
Mhm.
and all of those really hard topics that sometimes might feel taboo. But, really, as soon as we get the language and the comfortability talking about it, it opens up so many doors in being able to be trauma informed and one, have that awareness, but two, feel equipped to notice those things and navigate them when they come.
Absolutely. And I know with COVID that, especially since COVID, we've been seeing a little bit of an increase in mental health challenges. So, what have you seen post pandemic? How has the club adapted its trauma informed practices to meet those evolved needs?
Yeah, I think a lot of us might agree that after COVID-19, there was a lot of challenges with connection.
Mhm.
A lot of us were so isolated for so long, whether it was by choice or not. And it's really hard to be able to tap into seeing other people and communicating with other people. And so, how we've been able to adapt is, we opened up our clubhouses and we say, anyone can come,
Mhm.
anyone can participate, anyone can be who they want to be, and also they can thrive there. They can, participate in programs like the Wisdom Wellness Academy and learn about enrichment and empowerment for themselves. They can participate in STEM programming.
Mhm.
They can really determine who they are and also the differences that are beautiful in other people as well. And
Mhm.
so it really just offers that diverse perspective.
That's awesome. That's really great. And I know, of course, you also use different data and assessment as well. So, how do you measure success for mental health and trauma informed initiatives? What are some trends or outcomes that you're seeing since this implementation?
Yeah, we measure actually a bunch of different areas, of course. One is emotion regulation. We ask our members, that's what we call our youth at the Boys and Girls Club as members. We ask our members, do you feel equipped to navigate conflict? Do you feel like you are connected to your peers? Do you feel like you have someone to go to if you're going through a hard time? And we have seen an increase in that. We have really great staff and really great supporters as well. So, just having someone to talk to really goes a long way. And to your point about COVID, maybe some of that was lacking a little bit at the time, but we've really seen an increase in that connection and willingness to talk about it.
I think that's great. Are there other ways too? I mean, like, do you try to interact with folks in ways of like playing games and other
hmm
things like that too, different activities?
Yeah, we definitely do. We have a lot of social emotional learning activities in our generalist programming, as well as especially in our Wisdom Wellness Academy. Our SEL programs really go through emotion identification. So, sometimes we see anxiety being presented as a tummy ache or a headache.
Hmm.
And so recognizing that, oh, maybe it isn't something physical. Maybe I am actually struggling with anxiety on
Yeah.
something. And also emotion identification in others. We talk a lot about communication. We talk a lot about conflict, and really focusing on what are those replacement behaviors.
Hmm.
Sometimes our initial reaction isn't always the most productive.
Hmm.
However, we can always form a new neural pathway and we can always make a different decision. And so it's offering up those opportunities and seeing them take them and grow with them over time.
Absolutely. It's good to have that safe space where you're not being judged
Mhm.
and to work with professionals who, you know, uh, like I said, everyone's different, right? Everyone handles
Exactly.
trauma different. Everyone is going to handle anxiety and depression a little bit differently.
Mhm.
And so recognizing that and being able to have that conversation with them is a great way to notice it and to try to say, okay, what can we do to help you?
Mhm.
I think that's so important. And it's okay to ask for help. It's good to ask for help too.
Exactly. Yeah, removing that feeling of shame about it really opens up the floodgates, I think, for anyone of any age, really. Like it's not embarrassing to talk about it. There's
Mhm.
not something wrong with you.
Right.
And, you can thrive, having hope as well.
Yep, that's awesome. Let's talk a little bit here about the Wisdom Family Foundation. I know the Wisdom Family Foundation describes its mission as, quote, connecting children and families to immediate resources. So, addressing needs like food security, as well as housing support, medical care, and more. So, how does each of your role on both as the board and also influence the way you prioritize funding and resources for youth programs and also family support?
So I have a great opportunity of being on Boys and Girls Club board and Wisdom Family Foundation
Mhm.
board. It gives me a really good view of what is needed from the families and kids right now. Everyone who works at Boys and Girls Club can see and be in direct contact with the family and kids so they can understand what's needed right now. Is it food stability? Is it academic gaps? Is it mental health resources? And then I'm able to take that back and be like, work with Wisdom Family Foundation and say, we should be putting more funding here.
Hmm.
We are really able to be pivot because we know who we are and what we're doing, and that makes it really easy to give funding in different places. Our mission really aligns with BGC, so it makes it a really seamless process to work on both together.
Very good. I know that you also do offer a lot of different programs as well. So there's like the Holiday Impact Initiative, Fostering Success, other programs aim to provide immediate relief to families in need. So in times of, we know it, economic stress, and there's a lot of that going on right now. Inflation, job loss. How does the WFF adapt? And how critical is partnership with organizations like the Boys and Girls Club?
Um, it's everything to us, really.
Hmm.
It makes us the most successful. I think when we think about how to make it successful, we're talking about youth development, we're talking about wellness, we're talking about education. And so that's kind of how Wisdom Wellness Academy came about, is talking about if we can get kids the simple things that they need, a good meal on their plate, some mental health resources, some warm clothes, that can really help them grow and have long term success down the line. A lot of our initiatives are great. Christmas Wishes is going on right now, but Wisdom Wellness Academy is really centered to be a long term partnership. And we're also hoping to bring it to other Boys and Girls Clubs as well and grow it in other places. Once kids have the opportunity to feel safe and feel like they belong, they really have a chance to grow. And that's really when we see the most change.
Hmm. Absolutely. And I know that as a board member, there's a lot of decision making that's involved as well too. So you've got to balance the operational sustainability and also the charitable impact. So what are some metrics or criteria that you, or even just in general, the WFF use when evaluating grant requests, or also maybe deciding which programs to support? Because there's so many different programs that are out there. So how do you kind of help to balance that?
We have a very comprehensive rubric that we use. So we look at financials and we also look at program stability. And we also meet with organization leadership to see if the program fits with our mission. It's really about being strategic with our partners. That's how we have the most impact, is when we're choosing partners who align with our mission. It's really, really helpful because we're able to be more impactful with our funding. And that makes us able to pivot when times are needed in economic stress. We can take funding from somewhere else and add it to somewhere else. Like, for example, with the SNAP benefits, we were able to take funding and put it in a certain place when that was needed at one certain point.
Hmm. Very good. So, I mean, there's a lot. There's a lot that goes into it, of course. I mean, and I think too, because there's so many different programs out there. It's good to, like you said, you have that. You said it was a rubric, or
Yeah, we have a rubric. Yep.
okay,
We just actually moved into an invitation only grant process.
okay.
So all of our partners apply to receive a grant, and then we work closely with the organization members to see if they are going to get the grant. And then we really are trying to make long-term partnerships.
Mhm.
Most of the partners that we've been working with for years. And that's how we also think we can make long-term growth, is having impact with the same organizations that we trust.
Absolutely. Now, for Marla, the director of Wisdom Wellness Academy, I know that, again, you offer the signature programs. They focus on healthy lifestyle, education, wellness, and youth empowerment. Can you walk us through what a typical kind of program really looks like? How does it support youth differently than traditional after school or club programs?
Yes, our program runs Monday through Friday after school, and it's targeted for girls ages 10 to 14. I think right there is, a really big difference. That specific age group,
Mhm.
these girls are really starting to define who they are. They're starting to create images in their mind about what their bodies should look like, what health should look like, developing ways to cope and manage with stress. And so this is a really great opportunity for us to start planting seeds, if you will,
Mhm.
of ways to look at health and wellness kind of away from what society is telling you it should look like, or from an outward or external um, appearance or validation, but more giving them access to new ways of thinking about health and wellness so that they can start to develop intuitive wisdom of
Mhm.
knowing their bodies, their minds, and really making good choices for themselves of what's going to empower them to have healthy, sustainable um, lifestyle
Mhm.
that sets them up for success, not only now, but as they enter high school and for really the rest of their lives.
Yeah, I know that that age group is definitely we've been there before. It's a difficult time. You know, you're trying to discover things, and I know with the growth of social media, there can be a lot of social pressure that's out there too. So it's great that you have this academy and these clubs and programs to help with these kids and young adults, really to help to notice these things and say, well, you know what, actually, let's try to look at it. You know, try to look internally instead of what are you being, what's social media pressuring you to do and to look and to feel, right? You got to look inside, and your experiences and your experience are going to be different from others. So there's a lot that does go into that. So also, how do you integrate mental health, especially into the education in a way that feels accessible and very relevant to youth and families? I'm sure you probably have to do a lot of keeping up with research and new studies and things like that as well.
Sure. But also, I think accessibility comes from the girls themselves,
Hmm.
where we're really listening to what they're saying. So, part of our routine, we've developed a mindful kind of arrival process, if you will, for each and every day, where they roll out their yoga mats, they have journals where they're going to reflect on their day, kind of settle into the space,
Hmm.
resituate themselves, and then we do an emotional check in, so we're seeing where they're at with their day and how they're feeling, and really identifying with them that emotions matter and that we want to pay attention to them. And right there, that's an indicator for us of maybe what we actually have planned for today might skew from what the actual piece is, but gives us an opportunity to build the curriculum with them instead of forcing it on them,
Right.
which is, I think, what kind of sets this program apart from a lot of other after school programs where there's something being taught and it's kind of more performance based
Hmm.
or competition based, where this is really giving the girls an opportunity to come in and be able to discuss things that they're feeling, that they have questions about, struggles they're having, um, things they're curious about,
Hmm.
and then helping us identify the best ways around whether we're talking about sleep, habits, nutrition for the day, stress management, um, working on having good strategies with conflict resolution between peers, all of those things that we can then provide an experience for with
Hmm.
them in the program versus just telling them, okay, this is how it is, now
Yeah.
conform to it.
Yeah. So there's a lot of flexibility, and I
Yes.
think that that's really good to have that. Um, that open space for discussion, and of course the programs that are put in place to, like I said, be more flexible. And I think that that's really good to have, especially since like I said, everyone's different too, and I think that that's good. And again, having that conversation is so important, conversations with members as well, which is great. I know that you work in partnership with many organizations, food banks, schools, community groups to help mobilize resources and support, which is fantastic. It helps get the word around too. How important are these community partnerships? What makes this partnership work well?
Well, the community partnerships are not just important, they really feel like they're essential, especially to this program. We're developing youth that we want to be leaders in the community. We want them to have compassion. We want them to be creative and to really kind of be leaders, and showing that um, their exposure to whether it's having a community service opportunity in a nursing home like our girls just did right before Thanksgiving or visiting a local farm, they're seeing these things and having an embodied experience. So they're starting to connect and identify with that,
Hmm.
and it allows them to then not only take that experience with them, but then in the future, seeing where food is maybe grown or having the experience of feeling what it's like to give gratitude to people who are in a nursing home,
Hmm.
that's going to carry over into how they make decisions for themselves. And recognizing that community really is what we need for sustainable wellness as we move forward.
Absolutely.
I think also Wisdom Family Foundation as a whole, we work with a lot of social workers and school counselors in economically, challenged areas, and they really are a key partner in all this because they have direct contact with the kids and the families, so they can give us the tools that we need to help be successful. And people like that are what make small organizations, we're not small, we're small but mighty, Wisdom Family Foundation successful, especially and also with Boys and Girls Club. Boys and Girls Club of America actually just launched a marketing campaign called America Needs Club Kids, which I just absolutely love. I think it's genius. I think it's so smart because we are growing the next generation of youth, and what Marla's doing and what Wisdom Wellness Academy is doing is growing the next generation. And so we are going to need club kids, and they are going to be the ones that are creating, our next generation. So I think equipping them with the tools and resources they need right now is only going to better them in the future.
Absolutely. Well, we're already out of time, folks. I know we'll definitely have you guys on again because there's so much that we could unpack detail-wise and everything. So I thank you all for joining us today. Greatly appreciate it. And folks, you can check out more information. This is Boys and Girls Club of North Central Illinois. You can also go to wisdomfamilyfoundation.org to check out more information. Thank you, ladies, so much for joining us today.
Thank you.
Thank you.